this gentle yoga class, if you're not already, come to lying on your backs with your knees bent, soles of your feet on the floor. Becoming very, very soft in your wrists and your hands, and soft in the belly. As you come to notice how you're feeling and you notice the stream of a natural breath. If you'd like to take a moment to choose an intention for your practice, or maybe an intention for your day. How would you like your day to be? How would you like your practice to be? And allowing that wish, that resolve, to settle into the body. Settle into your cellular intelligence. And without coming into a full practice of sectional breathing, I'd just like you on the next inhalation to become aware of your lower ribs. And as you breathe in, feel the lift of your lower ribs out to the sides and out to the back. And as you breathe out, allow them to sink down. You could take your hands there. So just a couple of breaths here, just to remind us of this lower section of the lungs. Really breathing out to the sides, the front and the back. Just one more breath. And the next time you breathe in, you could bring your fingers to the sides of your ribs up the middle. Just becoming aware of the central section of your lungs as you breathe fully into the chest, front, sides and back. Feeling that expansion, the pressure of your ribs against the floor, and then breathing out, release. Taking a couple of breaths like this in all directions. We're not doing a full practice. This is just like a memory jog for the body and the breath. And then the final section is up at the top. You could bring your fingers to your collarbones, but you don't need to. And breathing in and really sipping the breath in right to the very top, so you feel it in your armpits, your shoulders. And then breathing out. Just a couple of breaths to remember this very top, narrow section of the lungs. And then releasing your hands down, really soften the wrists and the hands. And coming to a natural breath. So just a little memory jog. And then next time you breathe in, lifting your arms, floating your arms so they're up to vertical. Very soft in the wrists and the hands. And breathe out. Drop your hands to the floor beside you. So even this movement is helping us breathe into the bottom lobules of the lungs. Breathing in, coming up halfway. And breathing out, arms down by your sides. And then one more time, breathing in. And then breathing out, arms down by your sides. And taking a natural breath in and out. And the next time you breathe in, floating your arms up ever so soft in the hands and the wrists. And coming so that your arms are about level with your ears. So they're not on the floor. And then breathing out, steadily bringing your arms back down beside the body. We're just bringing a little bit more air in now into the thoracic area, the central section of the lungs. Breathing in. Maybe you feel more coming into the ribs, into the lungs, and breathing out, arms come down. Staying very soft in the belly. And then one more time, breathing in. Arms are about around the level of your ears. And breathing out, come all the way down. Arms beside you. And then take a natural breath in and out here. And for the final part of this breathing practice, we do, on the breath in, lift our arms all the way over to the floor behind us. Feeling the breath coming all the way up to the collarbones. And then breathing out, arms down beside the body. And then breathing in, lifting all the way again. And breathing out, arms down beside the body. Very slow and steady with the breath. And then one more time, breathing in. And then breathing out, floating your arms with the breath down beside the body, and return then when you come down to a natural breath. Soften the abdomen. And bring your knees with your hands in towards your chest. And have a very gentle rock. Lovely, slow, gentle waking up this morning. I hope you're all okay on this Friday morning. I sat down by the river at about, I don't know, 6:10, 6:15, and it was cold, but sparkling, and clouds of mist wafting all the way down over the surface of the river. Birds very busy. Paradise, it really is. Okay, and then dropping your feet down, making sure that they're parallel and about sit bone distance apart, with your arms down by your sides. And we're going to come to that lift of the arms all the way over the head with the inhale, but this time begin to peel your hips and your spine all the way up as well. So you come into a moving bridge. And you can pause at the top before you then breathe out and come down bone by bone, bringing your arms with you. Really relishing the contact bone by bone with the mat until you come all the way down to your sacrum. We do that 4 more times. So I'm going to leave you with your own rhythm, your own breath, to lift the inhale and to come down on the exhale. And really notice how the lift of the arms and the rest of the body brings more breath, more expansion into the torso. Synchronizing steadily the movement with the breath. Full breath. And I'm now going to start my final moving bridge. I don't know about you. And then breathing out, coming down. Taking a moment to feel the body, to notice the breath. Really soft in the belly. And we're going to breathe up into a bridge with our arms over our head, but we're going to stay up for 5 breaths if that's possible. If it's not possible, you keep going with the moving version. So breathing in, really press into your feet, feel the strength of your legs. Arms up over your head. Take your chin back a little bit and then keep lifting the sideways. Pressing into your feet and breathe here fully. You can really tune into the expansion, the front, the sides and the back of your torso with the breath. From the bottom of your ribs all the way up to your collarbones. One more full expansive inhalation. Breathe in the morning. And then on the breath out, ever so gently and slowly and steadily come all the way back down again. Arms come down, spine comes bone by bone until the sacrum melts into the mat. And take a breath in and out here. And then again, lifting your knees in with your hands and taking a few circles in a clockwise direction as you massage over your lower back and sacrum. Very soft, very receptive this morning. And then taking a few circles in the opposite direction. And then dropping your feet and coming to lie lengthways, so completely extended along the right side of your mat. So we haven't practiced banana asana for a while. And the intention, the function of this banana pose today is very much to enhance the breath. It facilitates the breath. So I'd like you to lift your arms up over your head and just flop out in the arms and the shoulders to begin with. And shuffle your feet around to the far left-hand corner. Being aware that your right hip might lift, but really just melting the right hip down. And then you can shuffle your shoulders and your arms around to the left as well. Try to keep your head in between your arms. And then there's a couple of things we can do. You can hold onto your right wrist with your left thumb and forefinger. And you can experiment with the ankles. I like to take the left ankle over the right. That gives me a little bit more of a stretch, but you might like to try the other way around, right over the left. And then take a full breath in, and as you breathe out, melt down, drop down into that right hip, really release it down. And then take another full breath in, and as you breathe out, melt down, release down through the right shoulder, so you can soften. And then come into this sense of an opening down the whole of the right side of the body. And direct your breath there, so you can feel the sides of the ribs, the armpit, upper arm. Maybe you can feel your side waist and side of your hip all the way down the leg to the ankle and the foot. Can you stay and breathe a little longer? Very soft in the face, and see if this is quite enjoyable. Gives us a particular access into a side stretch and into the right lung. We did this a lot at the beginning of lockdown, but it's now 9 weeks later. All merged into a little bit of a morass for me. I've kind of lost perspective of time. But it did occur to me that this is a lovely thing to do, so I wanted to come back to it. So keep breathing here. Keep breathing here. It's also great to get a lovely side stretch in the body, physically speaking, because we don't often do that. Taking one more full breath. And then release your ankles, release your wrists as you exhale. And find your way back with your arms, with your legs, to lying in a completely straight line. Check that you're straight. And take a moment to feel a bit of a rebound. Maybe noticing a difference in the right side of the body compared to the left. And then we'll shuffle our bodies over to the left side of the mat. This is just to line up. And taking the arms over the head to the floor behind. Really soft, shoulders, arms. And begin to shuffle the feet around to the right. As far as they'll go without lifting that left hip off the floor. And then shuffle the shoulders and arms and head around to the right as well. And take hold of the left wrist with the right thumb and finger. And experiment with which ankle gives you the best feeling. So my left ankle is over the right. And when you've come into your shape, take a full breath in. And then breathe out and drop down into the left hip. Really drop it towards the floor. Super heavy. And then take another full breath in. And with the breath out, drop down into the left shoulder. Melt the shoulder blade down into the floor. And then use your breath to explore the whole of the left side of the body. The left lung, or side of the ribs, the armpit all the way up the arm, and the side waist all the way down to the hip and the leg and the foot. And breathe here and feel your way to breathing life and expansion into the left side of the body. So you're not straining, really got a nice soft sense of your skin as you simply explore the edge of this stretch with the breath. I think, and I often say it, it's the hardest thing in a yoga practice to back off. And I know some people have been overdoing it in these classes. There's only so much I can say to remind you. And I'm reminding myself that less is more. In all types of yoga, whatever you're doing, less is more. One more full breath in. And then on the breath out, release the wrist and the ankles. Float your arms back beside you as you straighten out the whole body. In the center of your mat now. Take a while to simply feel and breathe naturally. And what do you notice? What do you feel this morning if you tune in completely, unreservedly, to notice every cell? And then bringing your knees in towards you again and having a little rock around. Just very brief. If you're circling your knees, circle them in both directions. And then shifting yourself to lie on the left side of your body so that your knees are and your thighs are coming out from the hips at about a 90-degree angle. And your arms are on top of each other. You might need to rest your head on something. Now, most of these classes, I've done the twist where we stroke the hand across the body and over to the right. But now we're going to do a slightly different movement with the arm, focusing on expansion and space for the breath again. So, and bear in mind that I want you to try and not lose contact with the floor with your right hand. So as you breathe in, begin to stroke your right fingertips up and around over your head. And then when you come to about level with your head, breathe out and take your arm all the way around to the right and your head goes with you. And then you come back, breathing in halfway, feel your head. And then breathing out, rolling to the side of your head and your palms meet or your right hand is further over. And that is the twist with the breath. You breathe, you might want to actually use the whole inhalation to come all the way. That might be better for you. And the whole of the exhalation to come all the way. So once you've found this rhythm with the breath and the rhythm with the arm, then notice how soft you can become in your pelvis and your side waist. Because we are twisting, even though the emphasis is on the breath, you're getting a nice little articulation in the shoulder. You will feel this in the pelvis, the hip, and the side waist. Can you continue in your own time, making it very pleasant for you? It should feel very soothing. And it may be you open out and you think, actually, I just want to stay here for a few breaths and watch the body settle into this twist. You'll be looking over to your right hand. And noticing that as you lie open, if you are lying open, that you have more access into the right lung. Can you feel that? And can you melt into your right shoulder, shoulder blade? Very soft behind the eyes. And then if you are lying open, take a breath in. And on the breath out, we'll come all the way back and take a breath or two closed like a clam. And then when you're ready, if you'd like to roll over to the other side. So you'll be lying on the right side of your body. So basically thighs and legs are parallel. And then beginning to sweep the left arm on the floor over the head on a breath in. You might like to come halfway and then exhale all the way. Just at the beginning, and then you can use the whole breath. And then inhale back halfway. And exhale. Bring your arms together. So you're really reaching with the left arm. In your own time, decide if you want to use the whole of an in-breath to come all the way and your head comes with you. The whole of an out-breath to roll all the way back down again. And then continue in your own time, moving with the breath when I tuck my shirt in. Synchronizing the twist and the sweep of the arm with the breath. And you're welcome to keep moving, or you might find at some point you want to stay open and explore breathing into the left lung. You really soften in the shoulder, feel the left hip and the side waist, and soften there. This is very much a breathing practice. And then taking a full breath in. And breathing out, sweeping your arm all the way back again. So that your arms meet, a little bit of a clam shape, and take a couple of breaths here. Before you press yourself up to sitting, and you could sit cross-legged or with your legs out extended, that's fine. And taking a moment to find that slight lift of the spine up and out of the pelvis, and take your fingertips to your shoulders. And then begin to circle with your elbows, circling. Very tenderly feeling into your shoulder sockets, but also the shoulder blades on the back. And if you have the range of movement, increasing the size of the circle so that your elbows eventually meet at the front, maybe, and your shoulder blades really squeeze together at the back. Let's take a few more breaths, trying to make smooth movements. Lovely to see so many Janes here today. Jane, Jane and Jane, hello. Oh, 4 Janes. Jane, 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 Jane. Gorgeous to see you all, and everyone who's not called Jane as well. And then we're going to reverse the direction of our circle. So start small. And can you feel that how this movement in the shoulders with the arms is also connecting to the breath? It's helping you, especially as you begin to take bigger circles, it's helping you draw more breath in. Feel the ribs, maybe your elbows are touching, maybe your shoulder blades are coming together at the back. And breathe. A few more breaths. Wonderful. And then slow that down. Slow that down. And take a moment to just feel the body now. You might like to close your eyes and come into a sense of the breath and all sensation in the body. And then if you'd like to join me, please, in an all-fours position. Knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Really soft in the hands. And then breathing in, dipping the spine down, so rocking the pelvis forwards and rippling open the chest and the throat. And breathing out, scooping the front body into the back body. Drag the tailbone down. And continue with these cat-cow movements, looking for as much synchronicity with the breath as possible. And very, very attuned to the articulation of your spine. Feel every bone and be aware of the ribs as well as you sink them on the inhale and as you push them up on the exhale. And the next time you exhale and you're pushing up, continue to push through the hands back to pose of the child, sitting back towards your heels. You might want to creep your fingertips a bit further forwards, a bit more of a stretch in the arms. And then inhale, lift yourself up and dip the spine. And exhale, scoop up back to child. I'd like you to do that 3 more times, making it absolutely delicious and smooth and silky this morning. Isn't it funny how repetition, coming back to the same movements, is so reassuring for the nervous system? Last time. Breathing in. Breathing out. And taking a breath in and out when you're down here. Really feel the contact of the tops of your feet and the palms of your hands with the floor. And the length from your armpits to your hip creases. And then bringing yourself back up to all fours. And beginning to circle your hips. You can start with very delicate little circles. But you might find actually that with all this work we've been doing with the ribs, that you want to really explore in all directions, through the sideways, through the ribs. Breathing fully and feeling the skin boundary of your whole body as you move and breathe, and be intuitive. You might even want to roll over into a little bit of a cobra. So we've done a lot of quite concentrated breath work. And now just really breathe and feel and move it around, move the prana around your body. And then begin to reverse the direction, please, of those circles. So you're really feeling into any areas of stiffness, any residues of stiffness that might still be there from the night. As you breathe and move with the body. Wonderful. And then coming to a still point, You might want to cushion your knees, you might have done this already, and taking your left forearm across the mat in front of you and walking out your right arm. So walking out with the fingertips as far as you can go, to almost feel as if you're drawing the right arm bone out of the shoulder socket. Breathe in, up on the fingertips, and on the breath out, lower the heel of the hand down, but keep the elbow and forearm off the floor. And lower your head either to the arm or to the mat on either side of the arm, it doesn't matter. And then settle into this quarter dog. And one thing I do here is to draw the hips a little bit back towards the heels. And see how this, if you're doing that, see how it gives you more access again to the right lung. A feeling of opening down the right side of the ribs and the upper arm. It's lovely. Well, I think it's lovely. I probably shouldn't say that. Take a few breaths and feel. The elbow is not flopped on the floor. You could even be on your fingertips if that helps. Remind you not to release. The arm is engaged and you're drawing back with the hip. One more breath in. And then as you breathe out, do release the elbow. So you flop the arm down. And then gently come back to all fours. And we'll take that to the other side. Right arm across. Walk the left arm out. Walk, 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 walk. Almost drawing the arm out of the shoulder socket. Inhale. And then exhale, maybe lower the heel of your hand down, but not the elbow, and lower your head. And as you come into a sense of the left side of the body, begin to draw your hips ever so slightly back towards your heels. And notice sensation on the left side. The upper arm, the armpit, sides of the ribs, the lung. And breathe and melt. Can you feel that side of the body? Really it's quite strong, I think. One more breath in. And then breathe out, release the forearm down to the mat. And then slide your way back to child's pose. And if you can, wrap your arms around the body. Palms are facing up. And if your head doesn't reach the floor, place something underneath your head. And take a few breaths to soften here. Really heavy, really soft in the shoulders. And breathing into the back body. And then coming forwards again, and we'll take one more pose, which is a version of heart melting pose. So if you would like to take your elbows out in front of you, probably about shoulder distance apart, and bring the palms of your hands together. And then begin to melt your chest down towards the floor. And you might come onto your forehead, you might come onto your chin. And draw your hands behind your head. So you're pressing the heels of your hands together and melting your heart towards the floor. And seeing what sensation this gives you now on both sides of the ribs, upper arms and armpits. And try not to completely hang out in the lower ribs. You can soften them a little bit so that the more is going on in the mid ribs. And breathe here, breathe here. A little bit of a prayer. So you might encounter resistance, and can you soften there just a little bit, just for a few more breaths? One more breath in. And then breathe out, release your arms, and again slide your way back towards your heels, but this time bring your hands underneath your forehead. And we've come to the end of the physical practice, so just coming to a natural breath with as much softness in the forehead and in the back of the ribs and shoulders as possible. Really letting go. You might like to stay there a little bit longer. But before you come to lying flat, can you come and sit for a moment to simply feel the body? To notice how you feel. Lovely, delicate dignity in the spine. Either closed eyes or very softly gazing down towards the floor. And observing sensation, observing the quality of the breath. And you might like to stay a while in a seated meditation. You might like to lie down now and have a really beautiful rest, noticing how your breath feels now. And you might be joining me for the Hatha Flow class. So I'm going to love you and leave you for a few minutes, and I'm going to put the screensaver on. Hope you have a lovely day. I'm teaching yin yoga tonight at 6 to 7:30 and a Saturday refresh flow at 9 tomorrow morning. And will be leading a relaxation at lunchtime today at 1:30. Thank you so much for joining me.